Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I am your host, Sibylla Muti, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. So grab your pen and paper, grab a great girlfriend, get situated, and let's get into the show. Hey, great girlfriends. Happy Wednesday. And I just love when I meet these new guests that come in with these fantastic bios and stories that can inspire any woman to say yes to your dreams, say yes to your ambitions, and to just keep going. This week, I'm so excited because one of my favorite brand partners, Chameleon Coffee, has joined forces with me and the Great Girlfriend community to bring forward stories of female entrepreneurs. And this particular story is just so round and full and robust. And I just love that. I feel like it's a page turner a bit in terms of where my guest today has started and where she's going and then what's to come. So I'm just going to read a pinch from her bio, and you're going to get the ooh and ah of like, okay, she did what? And then where is she from and how'd she do? And then we're going to talk a little bit with her to get into her story and comb through some of those juicy details. So Carolina Wang, my guest today, was born in Taipei, Taiwan, but grew up in Buenos Aires, Argentina. She started her career as a costume couture designer, but later transitioned into ready-to-wear, specifically into activewear and streetwear. With over 10 years of experience in the fashion industry, she was ready for a change and wanted to find a way to merge her first love with her second love, food. When she immigrated to the US when she was 9, her mother had to work 7 days a week to raise her on her own. But no matter how long her hours were, she always made sure that Carolina and her brother were fed for the next day. This is how Carolina's mother showed love, and this is why Carolina thinks food is love. Food is such an important way to share moments with people and build relationships, and she wanted a way to create and bring it all together. So she created Eat Good NYC with her boyfriend, Benny, where they use desserts to share and create stories and experiences with their clients and customers. Listen, they do custom orders of all type, and they have worked with some of the world's largest brands like Nike, Adidas, Sony, New York Knicks, and even created desserts for celebrity clients like Gigi Hadid, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, and Cardi B. Eat Good NYC continues to bring a fresh, new, innovative look to desserts, merging their love for fashion and art. I love that.
Hey, thank you.
I just love that. So please welcome my guest today, the founder or co-owner of Eat Good NYC, Carolina Wang.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to share my story.
Oh, listen, what a story. What a story. Like twists and turns from birth forward, right? But isn't that life?
Definitely. I mean, I have to be so grateful for my parents to have given me the opportunity that I've had just to live this life and to have even before I was 10 years old, to have already such an exciting life traveling the world.
Absolutely. I want to know, how you knew a career as a creative was a possibility. How did you even get the idea to go there?
I've always just been I grew up, my brother and I have 6 years apart. And to him, watching me was oh God, I have to watch my little sister. But he loved me so much. He really was a father figure to me growing up, honestly. Mm-hmm. And he was a big nerd and just computers, comic books, video games, all that. And because to him, the only way for him to be able to do those things was to teach me how to do those things. So my brother's always been a very creative person and drawing, art and, sketching and everything. So he really taught me how to do it and everything. And just ever since I was a kid, I loved sketching. I loved designing. And it really was when I was 13, I started doing costumes, and I was a super nerd where I traveled all across the East Coast for almost 10 years competing at anime conventions as a cosplayer. So
wow.
Me and my best friend at the time were kind of what influencers were before influencers were. Sure. And, we were known for the costumes we did every weekend at every convention. And it kind of just snowballed from that to where I wanted to go to school for it and wanted to learn more. And how do I make a career out of it? So then I went to textile school in North Carolina, and, that's that.
I love that. Okay, I got to tell you, tens of thousands of listeners and I collectively love food, right? Just like you.
Yep.
But we don't go jump into a career. We love food too, but I don't know that we would leap into the career. So what was it that said to you, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add, the fusion of, because I see food and fashion, complete intersection. I get it. But to then take it on as a new interest and then to learn the business, tell me about how you took that leap of faith.
So this really started on my whole like love for baking started when I lived in Baltimore as I was working for Under Armour in the fashion industry. And in Baltimore, I was living really outside of the city. I was like a bit lonely. So I really wanted to create something that was just like fun. So I taught myself how to bake. But then I also wanted to decorate the decorations, and I just saw everybody do all these cool things with fondant. And when I played with it, I was like, this is just like clay. Like, why can't I just make tiny, cute things out of it? So I just started doing that on the side for fun, for coworkers and everything. And just did it just for fun. And it made people so happy that when I moved to New York, I met the love of my life, my boyfriend, Benny, on Tinder. And
wow.
And so he pretty much told me he was like, oh, what kind of things are you into? And, he's like, oh, well, I make cupcakes and I'm into fashion. And I was like, that's crazy because I work in fashion and I make cupcakes on the side. So it was a bit of kismet moment.
Yeah.
And it was really him. Like, he really drove the brand. He came up with the concept. He, had this whole idea that food and fashion should merge in a really, fun, quirky way where art and pop culture and food should just all come together. And so it really kind of started with him saying, that's what I want as a brand. And for me being like, oh, well, I do this. How about we just like merge our superpowers? And here we go. Let's do this.
So good. Partnership is such an amazing way to really make the dream move faster, stronger, right? And it really helps to build the bridge between a lot of the like questions that we carry as entrepreneurs and the solutions that sit inside of people, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. So, okay, what have you learned as an entrepreneur in New York City, to be very specific, which, people say if you can survive in New York, you can survive anywhere. I believe that. I lived there for a very long time and found to be a place that really receives entrepreneurs well and embraces the idea of fresh innovation. So what have you learned as an entrepreneur?
I would say, it was all very scary to me. I honestly never saw myself as an entrepreneur. And, Benny, he's a Queens boy. He's like, he's hustles, like that's the hustle life, right? Like he's like that. He doesn't know any other way. So he really taught me kind of that grind, kind of that whole, this instinct to want to work for yourself, create something for yourself and your family and your next generation. So I really learned a lot from him through that. And, I've always been a process person. So kind of just being like, he taught me kind of how to be more brave. He taught me, in New York, I think my biggest fear coming to New York was like just being one of the many, just kind of like being lost. It's such a big city. And, I just thought, oh, who am I going to be in this city? And he really showed me the path of being like, you know what, you just have to be memorable. You have to create something different, create a different lane for yourself, but also be super passionate about doing it and just live and breathe it. So that's really like the foundation, the core of our brand. We have to believe in it. I mean, our cupcakes, when we first started doing it and we started doing all these creative 3D cupcakes. And then, when it came down to pricing and then asking somebody to pay how much effort I put into it. So a $20 cupcake, who knew people would pay $20 for a cupcake? But that really has to do with, believing in your product, pushing your product and just standing by it and not backing down.
Oh, that's so good. A $20 cupcake. I think I would do it once to try it. And then if it was worth that, like, OMG, this is the best, I'd be a repeat customer.
Yeah, what we found is that it wasn't just this is a good cupcake because, we make good cupcakes, but it was really creating the moment, the emotion that brought our customers. Everybody knows us for, we make cute sneaker cupcakes and, a girlfriend will buy it for her boyfriend after he stayed up trying to catch that sneaker drop and then he couldn't get it. So then she buys him the cupcake with sneaker on it, and it makes it memorable. It makes it, exciting, and, it makes them happy. So that $20 becomes so worth it because it created this memory.
Right. I do. I have to say, when you're dealing with what consumers and community, evoking emotion, passion, building connection to what matters to them is what makes, things or products resonate,
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So we love that emotional connection. But okay, the world of cupcakes, and I'm not sure what generation you are into New York, but I know you were, there was Sprinkles, there's Melissa's, there's all sorts of really delicious cupcakes. How did you differentiate yourself and create a model that allowed you to be sustainable as a brand? Like, what were some of the keys that you think helped you build out a brand model?
I think one thing that Benny has always been very important about doing and is creating community, like creating a small community that just ride or dies with you, that goes out there and tells people like, no, you got to look out for these guys. Like, they're small, like at first, and, you got to know, like, that's just what it is. You have to create that support. You got to create that trust. For us, in the beginning, we didn't pay for marketers. We didn't pay for anybody to get our names out there. It was always word of mouth. So for us to get into the doors that we have, it's always been our belief in our product and who we are, and being fearless about just jumping in there, cold calling somebody or just jumping into somebody's DMs because you love what they do and they'll love what you do. So really, it's just being really fearless about it and just creating that community to back up what you believe in.
So good. So when it came time for you all to learn how to manage all the facets of, owning a business, and you specifically as a woman, a female entrepreneur, the lessons come fast and furious, right? You've got accounting, you've got legal, you've got branding, you've got marketing, you have all the internal communications, building an infrastructure, all the things. What were some of the tips or crash courses that you learned that you think another woman should take from, this conversation?
I always tell everybody the main thing about even trying to become an entrepreneur is that you're going to fail so much, and that you have to be okay with that. You have to try things out. You have to not do them well, so you know how to do them next. You have to be really okay with being in a very insecure place and having a great support system to catch you there when you have a really low moment. I'm doing things that I never ever thought I'd do. We're just ramping up to open our first store, and I had no clue how to open a store, let alone, what legal things we need to do. But you just had to dive in there and just find out how to do it. Ask people, use that community you've built to ask questions. And, because everybody, when it comes down to it, yes, there's competition and everything, but really it's like community and supporting each other's businesses. Everybody's going through the same things, that uncomfortable moment. Everybody's been there. So it's just not being scared to feel that.
Oh, that's so good. Don't be afraid to feel that uncomfortable moment, because that's the moment where most people cringe because they feel too vulnerable or they feel ashamed for not knowing. But that's actually the moment where the breakthrough's happening, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to feel that way again.
Right. You want to, definitely want to, for sure. I can say I know. And then when it comes to like building out an infrastructure and a team, who did you hire first and why?
To this day, it is a 2-person team, me and Benny.
Awesome. Like, how are you guys able to?
I have no clue how we've gotten to this point, but we have an incredible like love and respect and partnership between two. We know we'll get each other's backs when, we've failed together, we've won together, and we've just made it happen. We've of course have had like friends that come through and help us pack cookies or something like that because they love us and they want to see us succeed too. But once we get the store open, we'll obviously love to have more team. We've had a lot of young kids in our community that want to us to be their mentor and learn from us, which we can't wait to be able to do that. As I said, it's the community and trying to teach kids a new way to what our business is we're trying to do a newer version of a very traditional break like a bakery. We're
Yeah.
kind of a new fresh way to take on it. You know, it's not just like everything in the bakery world is very traditional, it's very old, it hasn't really changed much, and we're trying to freshen that up and, you know, kind of bring a new, younger, you know, sense and just evolve it. It's all about innovation, right? So yeah.
Wow. So give me a little glimpse into your morning routine.
So pretty much lots of emails. This is right now, you know, our business works mostly through online, processing orders through emails and, you know, getting back to and just pretty much trying to stay as on point with customers. It's quite a challenge. And obviously that's one of the parts that I find myself very strained with. You know, for a long time, I was actually still juggling a 9 to 5 while I'm running the business as well. So
Wow.
it's really teaching you a lot to kind of also take care of yourself so you can support this lifestyle. And so that's kind of what we do. You know, we kind of start with orders, do our daily deliveries. We do all our own deliveries as well. And
Wow.
from then on, after that, we probably start doing the next day's orders. And that's kind of where it goes every day.
Wow. Okay, so then what is your evening routine? I'm hearing a 12 to 15 hour day out of you. So I know there's got to be a wind down or a self-care moment that you're taking in to really keep the harmony inside of your body.
We do. Really, you know, Benny and I, not only are we business partners, we're a couple as well. So we always tell each other, like, it's very important for us to take a moment and a beat to just be a couple. We have a wonderful puppy. Our puppy is like really what keeps us from stressing out. She just has her quirky moments and then she really brings us back down to earth, I feel like. So taking care of this puppy is like taking care of a child. So really we take a moment to kind of spend time doing that. Meals are very important for us. We never forget to eat. So really it's like little moments like that. And, you know, we always tell each other like, hey, let's go really hard for 2-3 days. And then also it's okay to say no to certain projects. Like when you start up as an entrepreneur, you know, you're always like, I will take any projects that come to me. Cause you know, you feel like you have this need to struggle. But I think even through COVID and just kind of realizing what's really important in life is finding that balance of being okay saying no to projects, and knowing that more projects will come in the future and maybe that same project is going to come back in the future. So not having that kind of FOMO feeling of being like, I'm missing out, I should have worked harder. It's being okay, being like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. Tomorrow will be another thing.
Yeah. So as a woman, how have you like managed to maintain great friendships throughout your entrepreneurship journey?
I have to say, I have the greatest circle of friends that just absolutely like have just been like my biggest supporters ever since even back in college. Just women and men that just support me and just have been like, wow, Carolina, you have gone from the craziest transition from being in fashion to food. You know, it's kind of like they've just ridden along with me. And I've always told people like, why just do one thing when you can do all the things you love together? You know, you kind of just build your own lane. And they've just like ridden with me. They always like egg me on. They're there to support me if I need it. I don't know what I would do without that support.
Oh, so good. So, what would you say to an entrepreneur who's just starting out and trying to get her footing and listening to you, trying to learn where she should start?
I would definitely tell them, research your market, know the people that are very prominent in it. And instead of seeing that as a competition, seeing that as an ally, really reach out, you know, tell people, obviously, if you notice somebody else doing something that you do and you appreciate it, tell them that you appreciate it and create those connections. Those are really, really important. And just being really like, just be fearless. Like I always say, like, you're gonna fail, but that's okay. Like, you just have to do it, because if you keep waiting for an opportunity to like, hey, maybe I'll do it, hey, maybe I'll do it later, or I don't know if this is the right time, you'll never do it. So just do it. I mean, it's like a very Nike line, but like legit, just do it.
Yeah.
And just whatever happens, happens, don't want to live with regrets. That's one of the things, especially in a place like New York, that really taught me, like, moments happen and come and go really quickly. So you just got to do it.
Yeah, that is so good. Okay, so for any listener who's like, I'm preparing to grab my favorite, what is your absolute favorite cupcake of the cupcakes that you all create, or your dessert that you all create?
Um, we've had some really amazing moments. I feel like every chance that we get to do something for somebody we admire, we really, get excited about. Obviously, making cupcakes for Beyonce was like the craziest thing. We really had to sit there and think, so when we started the business, it's like, why was cupcakes our vessel? Why not a cake? Because it's hard to really tell a story of a person with just a cake with a bunch of things on it. That's why we started doing the cupcakes, as each cupcake can be a key moment in somebody's lives or a memory or something like that. So we got to really sit down and think about what's important to Beyonce, not what's important to me, what's important to her. And just wrote down all like all the different music videos she's done, all the awards she's had, having, Blue and all that, and just kind of incorporating that in a really quirky, fun way. And when we got that opportunity to do that, they told us that she absolutely loved it. And like the one cupcake that she loved the most was a cupcake where we made like the little like big Tims, baby Tims, and the Manolo boots, like all in a cupcake together. She thought that was like her favorite because it kind of represented her whole family.
Yeah, that's sweet. So
Yeah.
what is one of your signature flavors?
You know what we've learned is people are very traditional. Like, people just want vanilla chocolate or red velvet cupcakes. Like, every time we did like a quirkier flavor for our brand, people are kind of like, it's like a secondary because our designs are so cool and fun. And that's really what people come to us for. So they get like really good, yummy tasting cupcakes that look good as well. So that's definitely something we always hear from our customers.
Oh, very cool. So how can our Great Girlfriend community keep up with you and check in with you online?
Absolutely. You can follow us and Eat Good NYC on Instagram, as well as Facebook and Twitter. We have our shop opening hopefully by the end of the year. It's will be located in Bushwick, Brooklyn, called the St. Michelle Bakery. It's going to be kind of a cafe and showroom initially. So watch us, we transition. We wanted to build somewhere that's fun, that's artsy, like us, to our community can come and pick up things and everything. So, and just get closer to our community that we've built. So that will be opening soon as well. So those are the two. And then if you want to follow my personal, my Instagram is at Chunlina Cakes.
Nice, very nice. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'm wishing you all the best in your journey. And thank you so much, Chameleon Coffee, for helping us to ignite and power these beautiful stories of entrepreneurship in lieu of National Entrepreneurship Day.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a total pleasure.
Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.